What's up, YouTube? This is your friendly neighborhood movie nerd, back to give you guys everything that is going on in the world of movies and TV. Now guys, if you are film fans, I think it is safe to say that you've heard of The Room. And if you're not a film fan, I would say it's also a safe bet to say that you've also heard of The Room. And granted, there's also a really good chance that you got it mixed up with Room, starring Brie Larson, which is hilarious, but beside the point. Point is, however, that watching The Room, directed, written, produced, and starring Tommy Wiseau, will certainly give one a different outlook on film and life entirely. Particularly, it changed one person's outlook, and that would be James Franco. So much so that it even inspired him to make a movie about the making of The Room, starring himself as Tommy and his brother Dave as Tommy's best friend, co-producer, and co-star of The Room, Greg Sestero. This is that movie. This is my review for The Disaster Artist.
You really gonna make this thing?
We are going to go together.
Tommy, this is not necessary.
No, very necessary. I need to show my ass to sell this movie.
Why is he having sex with her belly button? He knows where her vagina is, right?
So The Disaster Artist is based off the book written by Greg Sestero about his time spent on the making of this film. And let me tell you something, this film was just something special. I could tell that this was going to be one of those films that was something special from that first teaser, you know, where they're filming that infamous "Oh hi Mark" scene, just because I could tell from that first shot of that trailer that like this was going to be something that James Franco was going to do his best to make as great as he possibly did, and in my opinion, he totally nailed it. The strange thing about what makes this movie as great as it is, though, is not the fact that James nailed everything 100%. Actually, it's kind of the opposite, because there's a few things that technically stand out to me. The first being that no matter as hard as he tries to look exactly like Tommy, and he really does try, like this is not something that he's doing like just for an act. He is actually trying to look like Tommy. James is too friggin' handsome to look like Tommy. Tommy Wiseau's face literally looks like a wax statue that you left out in the sun for too long. That being said, there is just something about his performance, like that absolutely works, because he nails the mannerisms in the way like they would be used in a comedy sketch, like if he was doing it for SNL. But somehow, maybe because just Tommy was that bizarre and weird in real life, he totally 100% is believable as this guy, despite the fact that he is way too tall and way too handsome and very clearly in a wig to be it. And his performance, Franco's performance in this is off the wall good. Like, this might be his best performance that I've seen yet. I'm definitely not giving him enough props though for directing this movie too, because this film actually is really well directed. Like, I know he's directed like a bunch of like smaller on the side movies, but nothing that I feel like has been seen in the mainstream yet. But with this movie being as good as it was, I really hope this leads to a very long lasting and kind of new phase of his career, kind of like what directing did for Ben Affleck. I'm also definitely doing this movie a disservice by only talking about James, because his brother Dave, who is actually the focus of this movie for at least the first half of it, as Greg Sestero, does an amazing job too. Despite the fact that he is, again, way shorter than Greg Sestero was and really doesn't look that much like him, he still does an amazing job, because what this movie does amazingly well is that it never loses focus of the friendship between Tommy and Greg, which is the key to selling Tommy as a human being and is what locks you in and keeps you invested in this entire movie, even with all the absurdity that goes around it. Because trust me, if this was just all about the absurdity, this movie would not be nearly as good as it is. This film also definitely gets a lot of props from me for all the rotating door of celebrity cameos, because every single one of the cameos that they have in this movie, for me at least, works. They're never once distracting. It does also kind of play into another kind of nitpick that I have with this movie, which again, these really are nitpicks, because again, nothing about this movie bothers me. It's more so just things that I picked up on, and it's the fact of all the actors that they get to play the actors in The Room, and they really do get a great batch of actors. They got Zac Efron to get the guy who plays Chris R, and he's great. Josh Hutcherson is the guy who plays Denny. Ari Grainer from I'm Dying Up Here is the girl who plays Lisa. They really do get an amazing bunch of actors, and the one thing that stands out to me is whenever they're filming the scenes for The Room, they are so much better than the actors in The Room. And it's like, yeah, I get that they're trying to act like bad actors. The problem is that these are the actors in The Room are actors who never should have been let like near a film set. So it's like, it's a little bit jarring to see like them playing these characters slash actors so much better than they did in the movie The Room. Now, the big question that's going to come out about this movie is, should people watch The Room before seeing this movie? I would definitely say if you're a fan of film, watching The Room is going to give you a much deeper appreciation for this movie than I feel like if you hadn't. But for just a casual viewing audience, I would definitely say watch The Room at your own risk, because The Room is definitely a movie that needs to be seen in very specific circumstances in order for it to be enjoyed in the way that it is. With all of that being said, The Disaster Artist is definitely one of the most absurd, strangest, and one of the best movies that I've seen in a very long time. This movie is absolutely hilarious. James Franco does an amazing and brilliant job paying tribute to one of the oddest people quite possibly to ever walk this earth by basically breaking down to the bare minimum what makes Tommy Wiseau work as a human being, and that's why this movie is my new favorite movie of the year. I'm giving this movie 9.5 out of 10 stars. So that is my official review for The Disaster Artist. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. Make sure to also click the like button and the subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter at Movie Nerd Review. Also head on over to my website, movienerdreviews.com. That is it. I will see you guys next time.